Hey everybody, this is Sean, the Household Gamer, coming at you with another battle report. Today, we are going to see Jack Daw face off against Cornelius Basse. The strategy is Symbols of Authority, our deployment is Wedge, and our schemes are Assassinate, Hidden Martyr, Leave Your Mark, Take Prisoner, and Claim Jump. Matt's Cornelius Basse crew includes Cornelius Basse himself, his daughter Bernadette Basse, Jonathan Reichart, the Pale Rider, an Austringer, and 3 frontiersmen. My Jack Daw crew includes Jack Daw, Lady Legea, the always terrifying Montresor, Jacuna Ubume, 2 guilty, a drowned, and a hanged. Hanged is my proxy for this game, but it's a super cool model. One of the first Nightmare crews they did. It was the Dead Justice crew. It had a Dead Lady Justice, a Dead... what is his name? What is her... Dead Lady Justice, Dead the other guy, and then 3 Dead Death Marshals, which are really, really cool models. For my schemes, I chose Leave Your Mark, which is just a gimme in a lot of scenarios, and Hidden Martyrs, for which I chose my hanged and one of my guilty. We set up in a wedge deployment. Whenever you put out Symbols of Authority, they are just going to go on either side of the backfield of the wedge. This is a no-brainer. You put 1 in each corner and 1 8 inches away to force your opponent to split their forces up to go either side. We both did this, and wedge deployment, you start so near one another that we saw action on turn 1. So we placed our strat markers. On turn 1, Jack Daw won initiative, and we started with the Drowned, who moved and focused. Matt activated a Frontiersman, who moved, and then did their bonus action, Follow My Path. It has a 6-inch range. It can move a friendly 2 inches. There's no target number, no nothing. It just goes off. It's a great ability. And then the Frontiersman moved again. I activated a Guilty, who moved and focused. Matt activated a second Frontiersman, who did the bonus action to move a friendly 2 inches, then moved themselves and focused. Lady Legea moved and moved. She has a wonderful ability, which is a 6-inch aura that's just always on that enemies have to discard a card in order to cheat. She sets up this no-cheaty bubble, which is difficult to get around. Matt moved his Austringer into range and shot his pistol at one of the guilty. Hit it for 2 damage, and then his bonus action is to fling his angry raptor. He also flung it at the guilty and managed to do 2 damage. Montresor moved up and focused. As you can see, I'm sort of moving Jack Daw's crew around that church so that Jacuna, who is my choice for Leaving Your Mark, can get up near the center and claim it. This is a pretty obvious choice, and I've played it against Matt a couple of times. As you will see, he totally saw through me, absolutely knew Jacuna was the person who was trying to do this, and, well, you'll see what happens, but maybe I should have chose somebody else. The Pale Rider gained a Fate token. Every turn, you gain Fate tokens equal to what number turn it is, and then you can spend them to add rams to your duel totals. He did his bonus action, which is Ride With Me. You get to pick up a friendly and move it with you and then place it next to you, which he did with Bernadette. He focused and took a shot at Mr. Montresor. He managed to get through 2 damage and staggered him and injured him. Montresor is supposed to be doing the staggering here. I stagger you, you don't stagger me. The Hanged moved up. All I gotta do is keep him alive. He moved and moved. Bernadette moved twice. Turns out, and I didn't realize this, Bernadette is not insignificant. This totem can drop scheme markers. This totem can claim strategy markers. If I'd known that, I would have focused on her a little bit harder. Jacuna moved up and lured the Pale Rider closer to her. I thought, I don't want this guy running around the board. I'm going to try and take him out. Turns out this guy's a lot harder to take out than you would think. And then she threw up her Drowning Aura, which is a 3-inch bubble of hazardous terrain. The Frontiersman moved, cast Follow My Path on Mr. Reichart, and then moved again. Jack Daw did his Drawn to Betrayal. 16-inch range. You can move a tormented towards another tormented. An amazing ability. Moved the guilty towards Jakuna. He moved and then attempted to do Suppressed Memory. Tried to hand out an upgrade. Jack Daw benefits from handing out these terrible upgrades to other people. Tried to hand out an upgrade to the rider, but missed. And then just moved right up the gut. I'm always such a weenie about putting Jack Daw in the middle here. This time I was like, man, I'm going to put him in there and really mess stuff up. Since I activated my master, I suppose Matt had to activate his. Cornelius Basse moved. Shot at the guilty on the bed with his shotgun, but missed. Shot at Jakuna. Jakuna has Serene Countenance, so every attack action against her gets a minus flip. He used a Soulstone to counteract that, and then failed after Jakuna cheated. He knows she's going for that scheme. I know she's going for that scheme. I gotta keep her alive. And then did his bonus action to kick up dust. Created a little 50mm tornado. The guilty used his bonus action to try and share guilt. Does not go off. He charges and misses. And then does his regular attack. Hits for weak damage, too. Mr. Reichardt moves and charges Jakuna. Man, he really wants to take him out. He took 1 damage for moving into hazardous terrain. Used the Soulstone versus the Serene Countenance. This should have brought him to a straight flip. We accidentally flipped plus flip on this one. But, oh well. Did weak damage, which was 4. Went down to 3 because she's incorporeal. And then he took 1 damage from her Vengeance. But still, he's hammering away at her. This wedge deployment puts us really close at the beginning of the game. And with the church sitting on that center point, all the action is focused around here when the strategy markers are down deep in either side of the field. If I had been a little more on my game, I would have spent less time pursuing those schemes and more time pursuing the strategy. The main takeaway from Malifaux is you can kill all the models you want, but if you don't score points, you don't win the game. Score points, people. That's a beer. Turn 2, we both spent a Soulstone to get more cards, and Basse won the initiative this time. Reichardt went first, going in for the kill, and burning Soulstones left and right. Burns a Soulstone to get past Serene Countenance. Hits! 4 goes down to 3 from incorporeal. Jakuna is bleeding. Soulstones for a plus flip to get past Serene Countenance, but then Jakuna Red Choker on defense. He ends up taking 1 damage and then kicks up some dust. Montresor charges the Pale Rider. I wanted to take out the Pale Rider just as bad as Matt wanted to take out Jakuna because he is a mobile and terrible model. But I have a bunch of movement duels, and guess what the Pale Rider's best stat is? Montresor throws his noose at the rider, cheats in a 12 and does 2 damage, which goes down to 1 for armor, but then he has to discard a card because I got the execute trigger. Hits him with the noose again. 2 damage goes down to 1, but Montresor manages to get him staggered. Yeah, your movement's not so high as now, is it? And then Montresor casts Asphyxiation, his bonus action, which does 1 damage to everybody with staggered, and then Monty loses his own staggered because his activation is over. The rider uses his bonus action to ride with me and pushes away. Takes 1 damage from Monty. Suffocation. Is that all he did that turn? Probably not. The guilty, who is sitting in the electric chair, tries to share his guilt, but it doesn't go off. So he moves and then charges, and it's a miss. Sorry, buddy. The lady frontiersman does a bonus follow my path, and then moves, and then she just sits there. Just lets an AP go to waste. She's where she wanted to be. The hanged moves to see the frontier person, and then uses his bonus action for Horrifying Whispers. If you get a mask with Horrifying Whispers, you get to move right into base contact with him. So he moves into base contact, and then does Dead Man's Collar for 3 damage. Our bird handler, the Austringer, focuses, and then Raptor strikes versus Jakuna, but a miss. Then he fires his pistol at the guilty on the bed for 2 damage, wipes him out, kills him. That's not the one I wanted dead. But whenever you kill a guilty, you get an upgrade that gives Jack Daw an extra card in his hand, so I now have a 7-card hand. The drowned moves, vomits to try and create difficult terrain, and then startles the rider. Oh, he scares the hell out of him, staggers him. The frontiersman with the mohawk uses his free ability to follow my path to the Austringer. These guys ignore severe terrain, so he just sprints over some rubble and then shoots at Lady Ligeia. Hits! Severe! Kaboom! Jakuna tries to tear apart Mr. Reichardt. 3 damage. Tear apart again and miss. And then throws up her drowning aura again. Always throw up your drowning aura. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Mr. Cornelius Basse shoots his shotgun versus the remaining guilty. Yes, hit him. Hits him for weak damage 3. Oh, that's not enough. He shotguns him again and miss. Oh, please kill him. Shotguns him again for 4. Destroyed. Then he gets the upgrade. Jack now has an 8-card hand, and my first hidden martyrs target is dead. And then he kicks up dust to make a little tornado. Mr. Jack Daw tries to throw a condition onto Mr. Reichardt with suppressed memories and misses. Then he Soulstones again with a suppressed memories and hits for 3 damage and puts an upgrade on Reichardt. Reichardt is now tormented. Throws a Fickle Tormentor to draw a card and manages it. Draws a card. Throws up the Dead Man's Collar for 3 damage, but unfortunately that sucker is hard to kill, so he doesn't go down. Bernadette moves and moves. I wonder what she's up to. The frontiersman in the cloak and the mustache focuses. Uses his focus shot on Jakuna with a magic bullet. Ping! Hits Jakuna. Jakuna down. At the end of the turn, we reveal some schemes. Matt reveals Take Prisoner versus the Hanged. What? Gets a point. I reveal Hidden Martyrs with the Guilty. I get a point. No strat points. On turn 3, we both Soulstone for card. Matt gets the Red Joker for initiative. That's not where you want to see it. The Pale Rider performs a ride with me with Bernadette, and then moves and picks up a strat token. There's a point for you, pal. Since I've been losing guys left and right, Jack Daw throws a pass token. The frontiersman with the mohawk moves twice down the field looking for those strat tokens. The Hanged casts Dead Man's Collar onto the Lady Frontiersman. The Frontiers Lady. 2 damage to her, she is kaboop dead. The Hanged throws a stone. Hanged can use Soulstones, by the way. Not henchmen, they can use them anyway. The Hanged throws a stone at Horrifying Whispers so he can transport to being on your heels. He manages to throw his Hanged upgrade on Mohawk Man and moves base to base. Now we got some upgrades out there. Now my opponent is tormented. Unfortunately, there's no one left in my crew. Reichardt attacks Jack Daw, cheats to pass his terror test, and misses. Attacks again, but misses his terror check. Thank goodness their willpower is not as high as their movement. Montresor throws a stone for a ram, which will give way down. Now the target's got to have an upgrade attached, which that frontiersman now does, and it'll just give us an extra +1 damage. So he does 2 damage, which goes up to 3, and then he charges, hangs him with his noose again for weak damage. Kill another frontiersman. Mr. Cornelius Basse moves and then charges Montresor, but misses his terror check. Oh, sorry about that, Basse. Passes his second terror check, shotguns him for 3 and injures him. Jack Daw throws a pass token. Bernadette moves, kicks up dust, and focuses. Jack Daw throws another pass token. The Austringer focuses, throws his raptor at Jack Daw, but misses the terror check. Whew, those terror checks worked out for me this game. Takes a focused pistol shot, passes the terror check, and hits Jack Daw for 2. Jack Daw's only got 6 wounds, but you can always throw away a card to reduce damage to 1, so Daw does that. The Drowned moves, charges, and takes a focus shot. Red Joker! Hits for 2 and stuns. Jack Daw, it's time for the Master. Does Fickle Tormentor to draw cards for all the tormented models around, draws a card. Throws the Dead Man's Collar against a staggered Reinhardt. Reinhardt cheats out of it, does his collar again, and hits for a moderate. 3 damage, that's all we needed. He only had 1 left. So at the end of this turn, Matt takes a point for strategy. I do not. Neither of us score any more schemes, so Matt is up 2-1. On turn 4, Jack Daw Soulstones for cards. 1 Soulstone left for Jack. And wins initiative by 1. The Drowned attacks Red Joker. attacks Bernadette, but she's hard to kill. On the second attack, he kills her off. Tries to startle the rider with his bonus action, doesn't go off. The Austringer moves twice, no raptor attack from him this turn. Jack Daw passes. The Pale Rider does a ride with me and then moves twice, gunning it for the other side of the board. Jack Daw does his bonus action to draw himself to Monty, casts a Suppressed Memories, and hits for 3 damage with the trigger that moves 3 inches. Matt uses a Soulstone to prevent 2 of the damage, casts Dead Man's Collar, and hits an 18 with the Execute trigger. Ooh, but it only does 2 damage. And then casts Dead Man's Collar again and misses. If you ever injure somebody who is tormented, you get to draw a card. So Jack Daw draws a card. That's the first time I got it this game. The frontiersman with a mohawk focuses and passes. Monty throws his noose at Basse. We were trying to finish him off. Does 3 damage with the Execute trigger. He pitches the Black Joker. That's what we hold on to him for. Throws his noose again and misses. That Basse is hard to perish. Basse shoots at Monty, passes his terror check, but misses his shot. On his second shot, he misses, and then he fails the terror. That was pretty ineffective that turn, but Matt is still way ahead in the numbers. Kicks up dust. The Hang throws the Dead Man's Collar, hits for 3. Throws the Dead Man's Collar again, hits for 4. At the end of the turn, Matt reveals the hidden martyrs for the Mohawk and the Austringer. Killed the Mohawk guy. Austringer's still alive. He gets a point for the scheme. He's up to 3. I got nothing. I never even got near a strategy token this game. Turn 5, Matt Black Joker's initiative. The Hanged moves. Tries his Horrifying Whispers. No. Tries his Noose. No. The Pale Rider does a ride with me, runs to the strategy token and interacts. Montresor throws his Noose for 4 damage. Throws his Noose again. Cheats the Red Joker for weak damage, but kills. And at this point, we called it. I focused too much on the schemes. It was terribly obvious that I was using Jakuna to guard that middle point. I think it was probably just poor crew selection. With wedge deployment and Symbols of Authority, you have to be able to motor across the board. He could do it, and I couldn't. I enjoy playing Jack Daw a lot, but I think I could have considered my crew a little bit better. Then again, I'm just also playing stuff that I have painted, so I'll generally play the same crew game to game just so I can put non-naked models on the table. Basse is a worthy adversary. Those frontiersmen are no joke. That Pale Rider is a killer. Ooh, you got to take care of that guy early. I think I have to stop being such a wiener about pushing Montresor up. That guy can resurrect from the dead, so maybe next time I'll throw him into the middle. I hope you enjoyed this battle report. Keep watching for more painting and modeling videos, unboxing, and a battle report a week if we can manage it. Take care.